Did he not? That was not a good nod, bruh. You need to
Uh,
nod a little deeper.
no,
No, not that deep. Not that deep. It's too deep.
too deep.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
I no, fuck this. Just say, all right, we're
Yeah.
recording
Do
because
you
that's
watch?
what you usually do.
Do you watch Archer?
Archer. That's a show on like Comedy Central or something.
I don't know. I don't have cable. It's most likely Comedy Central. I watch it on Netflix though. It's kind of like
I've heard of it. I've never watched it.
it's one of those weird like adult themed cartoons.
Like South Park, but
Yeah.
not as grimy.
I don't know.
It's pretty grimy.
Yeah, it's grimy in a different way. I mean, they do a lot of drugs and they fuck a lot.
Oh, okay, that's really grimy.
But yeah, their thing instead of that's what she said, they call it phrasing. So if you say something that sounds like it could be sexual, they say phrasing. So you said that deep by phrasing. So. Now I'm just over explaining myself.
That's like how we used to say no homo, and now everyone says pause. So it's the same thing.
Pause?
That's what. Yeah. So
Like
that's
as in take a brief break.
like, yeah, pause with what I just said.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean it in that way, and then keep going. So like, if I'm like, man, I was in that hole deep, bruh. Pause, 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 and then just keep going. I was golfing, and I was in that hole deep.
Gotcha. I didn't know if you meant like
Yeah.
paws, like my dog has 4 paws.
Oh no, pause.
Because I was like, I was like, that makes zero sense. Like you have to break that one down to me.
no, you're hitting the pause on the VCR.
Gotcha. That
Yeah,
makes more sense.
but yeah, you can just say, "All right, we're recording," and then I'll bring us in. And I have no clue what we're talking about, but that's cool because I never have any clue what we're talking about.
No, man, we're already recording. Like I'm not deleting this shit. We're going.
Wait, we're recording right now?
We've been recording.
We've been
I did
recording?
a deep fucking head nod. You said give me a head nod.
I thought you stopped it after that.
No, we're still going.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Off the Beaten Path podcast. This is Day Drink Discussions number 6. I hope you're having a great day. Day Drink Discussions number 6, motherfucker. I did not know we were talking. I was trying to explain pause to Bobby, and obviously my pause sounds like a pause of a cat or of a dog. I'm saying pause as in you press the VCR button. Pause. What the fuck are you saying? I did not mean it in a gay way. I meant it in a straight way.
Hey Nate, can you pause? We probably got some Gen Zers on here, and they don't know what a VCR is.
A VCR is something that used to play with a VHS tape, and a VHS tape of eventually okay, it's like the Ritz new album, the new Ritz album. I don't remember who it is. I think it's Markleys. He said, "I graduated from the trap to an apartment to a crib to a house." So I graduated from a VHS tape to a DVD. A DVD is the next thing. And now we have streaming, which is with a PS4, or rather, it's Spotify, whatever it is. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Man, that
But
would be weird. It almost like be going back to, I guess, taking modern technology and going to the past. I mean, because obviously young people, I'm being a little bit silly, but they know what VHS and VCR is. I would expect. Maybe they've
they
never
do.
owned one, but it's almost like taking modern technology to like the past. You imagine going to like the 1700s with a cell phone.
We've talked about this, and I might have to look up the lyrics. It's not lyrics, it's more of a spoken word. But on IDK's album, he says, explaining. Oh my God, what does he say? It's so perfect. He says something along the lines of explaining to a modern man what Noah's Ark is the same thing of explaining to cavemen that we built robot bitches we can fuck. Because in this day and age, it's like no, Noah's Ark. He built that for all the animals. It's unexplainable. Think about explaining to a caveman, bruh, we have robot bitches and we can have sex with them. It makes no sense. It makes no
Yeah.
sense. So, yeah. Uh,
Yeah, Noah's Ark, whether it was a physical thing or an idea or maybe a collection of ideas, it's an incredible feat. Just to be able to build something like that without modern technology.
and
That kind of blows my mind.
and I feel like you
Man,
know
why didn't you
more.
tell me wasn't even in my screen? I'm like way over here to like look at my room. You can't even see my shit.
Oh, I have me on full screen.
Look
I
at
was
me.
looking at you. All right, I got you on full
Can't even
screen
see
now.
my shit. I got a new fade. You can't even see that shit.
I I respect that it's October and you have a white person hanging. That's good. Fuck them. I did not mean that, white people. But I do respect that you have your Halloween paraphernalia up in October.
You see, like one thing I try to train is my intuition, because I believe intuition is a muscle, just like our bodies are a muscle. And I believe that if you train it, you can get better with it over time. So I'll do weird shit, like even if I'm coming home and my thought is, hey, I want to take the next left, because my neighborhood, you can get to my house like on like 5 different streets. They all lead to my street, and we're kind of in the center of the neighborhood. So I'm like, no, I don't want to take the first left. I want to take the next left, and I don't know why, but I feel like it's better today. And I'll just do weird shit like that, or if it's like, I don't know, just if I feel something, I try to do it. That way, when it's something big and it's important, I know to listen to that inner voice that's trying to lead me in a certain direction. And I say all that because I have two of those that are kind of like a ghost, I guess. And I didn't even think about them being white. But then I have a purple one, and it's like a witch. So it's like purple and green. And I'm like, should I go with the black and white, or should I do the purple and green? No, I want to do the purple and green. Like I think it really pop. But then I was lazy, and I was like, I don't want to get on the step ladder and get the purple and green. I'll just get this one because I can stand up and get it from the floor. I should have went with the fucking purple and green.
No,
I ain't trying to be racist, white people.
no, they have hung us for years. Fuck them, bro. Why are you so close? I see the cat hair on you.
Man, fuck you. That's my dog hair.
Why are you so close?
No, I'm plugging
What
my
are you
phone back
doing?
in. Yeah, plugging my phone back in. I didn't want it to die. I got that droid cam going.
I
But
was just thinking about
dies real
this
easy.
because you're a big sexy dude. I was thinking about do you think that this Mike Tyson and Rory Jones is
Shit!
actually gonna happen?
That's one thing I forgot to ask Lex about, because she has that bar with that Mike Tyson reference.
She has a lot of Mike Tyson bars, but the one you're talking about, I already know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask her about that, but I forgot to bring it up. But
But do you think that's gonna? Do you think that fight's actually gonna happen? Because it's been pushed back, and now Roy Jones. I don't know if you've seen it. Roy Jones is saying, "I should have never." I don't know if he said sign this contract or what, but basically he's saying, I think it was a mistake, and I don't know if I'm gonna do it." Do you think this fight's actually gonna happen?
I haven't been following I guess the vlogs of the fighters. I know Tyson really wants it to happen.
Oh yeah, dude, he's
Tyson's been doing a lot
in.
of interviews.
He's in.
And maybe Roy's been on podcasts too, but just I guess based upon past watch history, YouTube only filters to me the Tyson interviews, and I haven't actively searched for the Roy interviews if they exist.
They do.
Yeah,
He's
I don't know.
talking about
I mean, Tyson really wants to do it, and I think it's gonna be because what boxing is 12 rounds now. What they're gonna do 8 or 6? 8.
Eight in
Okay.
this next exhibition. So what an exhibition is, according to the commissioner of California, is they're not trying to knock each other out. They're trying to show each other skills. But Roy Jones Jr. has said publicly, "You think I'm gonna go in the ring with Mike Tyson and not try to knock him out? Because I know what he's gonna try to do to me." And Mike Tyson has went in there in a different kind of perspective of, I'm not going to make any money off this. I don't want to make any money off this. But do you not think I'm going to try to knock his ass out? Hell yeah, I'm going to. So I feel like there's so many confusing sides because Roy Jones Jr. has a side of Mike's competitive. He's going to try and knock me out, so I'm going to try and knock him out. Mike Tyson has a perspective of I need to knock him out because that's what people know me for. And then the commissioner of California is saying, no, it's just let's jab, let's touch each other. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't happen. I
I
mean,
do.
yeah, I have no evidence in front of me to show why it wouldn't happen. So
I
I
have
guess I
plenty
don't,
of evidence.
I guess I don't have an opinion on that.
I have plenty of evidence. I don't think it's going to happen. To be 100% honest, Mike Tyson might end up fighting again, but in November, it was supposed to happen in September. September's gone. It was supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen in November. It's gonna get pushed back again, and I think that Roy Jones is gonna he's gonna resign from it, and it's not gonna be him. And Mike Tyson's gonna fight some scrub, and I feel like Mike Tyson is even gonna be like, no, I don't want to fight a scrub. I want to fight someone that everyone wants because Roy Jones Jr. said I'm only going to stay in the heavyweight. This is early 2000s. And the only reason I know this is because I've been following it. He said in the early 2000s, I'm only going to stay at heavyweight. I'm a champion in heavyweight. I'm only going to defend my title if it's against Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, at that time in the early 2000s, said, I'm done with fighting. And Roy Jones was like, all right, I'll move to light heavyweight and get that championship too. And he got it. But now the fight that everyone wants to see, I feel like Roy Jones Jr., rather it's a contract, rather it's a money, whatever it is, I feel like he's like, wait, I feel like I was kind of suckered into this, and I don't want to do it anymore. I don't think the fight's gonna happen in November like it's
I don't
supposed
think
to.
either of them are getting paid. I think they were doing it for charity.
That's what they're supposed to be doing it for. But Roy Jones Jr., I feel like the promoters came with them with something, and they're both like, okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's do it for charity. But I feel like Roy Jones Jr., I feel like he's like, nah. I kind of feel like it's a scam going on. I feel that's what I've gotten, and I feel like he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, I haven't watched a single interview, so I have no opinion. Oh, I did
I
watch a
think he's
very.
scared,
I doubt he's scared. Um,
bruh. Bruh, you are the best fighter in the world. You're not gonna be scared of Mike Tyson.
I mean, there's a level of fear that I would call respect, and if you don't feel it when you're about to get into the ring with anybody, you're probably just psychotic. I mean, because even Mike feels it. Like,
Yeah,
he's
that's
famous
what
for
he
saying.
said fuels him.
He's famous for saying that he's dealing with fear walking to the ring.
He
not
cries
like us.
before fights because
But
he's scared.
but I don't think Roy has a type of fear with his experience that he's like, I can't get in the ring with Mike. No, maybe
You
it's
don't.
maybe it's an age thing, or maybe it's he just hasn't been in the ring doing like full contact in so long that he's worried about ring rust. But I don't think it's like a fear of like, oh my god, I picked the wrong opponent.
Okay, all right. Let's go with this. I don't know if you heard the audio from it because you're watching the actual fight. You hear them talking, but you don't hear the audio. UFC releases the audio. McGregor gets handled, and he stands up, and he says to Habib, "It's only business." And Habib says, "No, it's not, buddy. No, it's not. This is personal."
Because Conor
He-
made that shit so personal.
He spoke about his religion. He spoke about his dad. He spoke about everything that was personal. And then in the ring, when he's getting manhandled, he says, "Hey man, it's only business." And Habib says, "No, this is real shit." If you go back and watch that fight, after every round, McGregor puts out a hand, fist bump. Look, man, we're in the art. We're fighting. This is. And Habib's like, "No, I'm not gonna fist bump you. This is personal. You made it personal." Do you not think that Roy Jones Jr. is looking at this as like, this is for charity. We need to do it for charity. This is to help people out. No, I feel like I feel not Habib. I feel like fucking Roy Jones Jr. is bitching out. He is scared, bruh. He's like, no, this shit is not what I thought it was gonna be. I am not down with it because Mike Tyson's gonna try to kill me, and the
I'm
contract
gonna
is
eat
not
your
what I thought.
babies.
Bruh, I'm gonna eat your kids. I'm gonna eat your wife. Like, where do you think hide your kids, hide your wife came from? That news reporter that was filming that and the person that said it? No, they got it from Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I don't know. One speculation that I would like to see though, I was watching I think it's MMA Today, channel a few days ago, and that's Conor versus Pacquiao.
I've seen that too. I've seen that rumor going around, and honestly, McGregor has that left hand. He has that left hand power that can. I just don't want to see him box. I feel like MMA is way too diverse just to put him. It's the same thing we talked about. We talked about with Lex. We talked about with T Dub, of putting them in a box. He is not just a boxer. He is a MMA. What does MMA stand for? Mixed martial arts. So we're gonna put him in a box to where he's just boxing against someone that has trained their whole life about boxing. I feel like McGregor, that's where the money is at. If he needs money or if he wants money, go for it. You're gonna get outworked every time. You look good
Mayweather.
against Money Mayweather, but you got outworked. That's what that was about. But you got that paycheck. You're gonna do the same thing with Pacquiao. Pacquiao is gonna outwork you, and you might look good. And oh wow, so maybe an MMA fighter can fight a boxer. But dude, how many times did you want to use your knee? How many times did you want to use your foot? How many times do you want to use your shin? How many times did you want to shoot in on them and take them down? And if that would have happened, if it would have been totally vice versa, and it was Mayweather fighting in a UFC fight, Mayweather would have got demolished. He would have got whooped. But you're fighting his world. And his world, he is one of the best to ever do it. And Pacquiao, too. One of the best to ever do it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's where the money is. If you need the money or if you want the money, fight Pacquiao. But if you don't want to look stupid, bring Pacquiao into your world.
All right, so I got two things with that. First, McGregor learned his chops in a boxing gym in Ireland. So I mean, he was a boxer before he was an MMA fighter. So he does have some boxing experience, even though it's not as solid as people that have been doing it for their entire life, their entire career.
His striking is impeccable.
Yeah, but so I mean, he has amazing boxing. And also too, when looking at something like that, so when looking at fighting arts, you count number of weapons available to you. So with boxing, you only really have two. You have the punching and the guard, and then obviously foot movement, head movement.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Hold up. I just want to complete my thought. With MMA, you almost have infinite. It's not like it's. I mean, you have your fist, you have your elbows, you have your knees.
That's a question.
Okay.
That's the question I was going to ask you. How many components do you have in MMA? Don't go with takedown. Go with your limbs. How many? Think real quick.
You just have 8.
Yep, you answered it properly. 1, 2, 3, 4 knees, two feet. You answered it properly.
But
all right, keep going.
But then you can even multiply it, and it becomes so complex because you have the guard. You have the guard against the fence. Then you can grab from the guard. Then you have the takedown. So you multiply those same things that you could do standing up on the ground to a certain degree. You can't kick a downed opponent. You can't knee the head of a downed opponent, but you can still knee the ribs and the rest of the body. Then you look at the BJJ component, the grappling, the wrestling component. So you have so many different things So to take somebody that's only ever boxed and put them in that arena, it's very unfair. That would be like taking somebody from like 500 BC and then like a warrior, an army from 500 BC, and then putting them against the army now, where back then they just had sticks and stones and they had to fight from 3 feet apart, to all the modern warfare we have now and everything in between. Like, it wouldn't be fair. But to take somebody that has more weapons, more tools, and then condense it to only two, it makes it a very interesting challenge. So it's not a fair thing to say, oh, an MMA fighter can go to boxing and he can look pretty good, he might be able to win. And say, oh, but boxing can't do the other thing. They can't go from boxing to MMA.
They can't.
It's unfair, though, because you're putting them in an arena where there's exponentially more tools and more options that they've never trained.
Let me ask you
that. But MMA fighters do train their boxing. They do train their hands. They do train their footwork. So you can take tools away, and it makes it a very interesting challenge.
But
if you add tools to it, it makes it unfair.
Okay, exactly what you're saying is an MMA fighter can go to boxing because they've trained boxing. Mm-hmm. But if a boxer were to go to MMA, they haven't trained grappling. They haven't trained the tight clinch. They haven't trained takedowns. So you're saying it would be unfair for Pacquiao to go to MMA, but it's not unfair for McGregor to go to Pacquiao.
No, yeah.
I agree 100%. 100%.
It'd almost be like looking at weight class. Like now we have a very structured weight class system in MMA. But look at when it first happened. When you had people like Hoist Gracie fighting sumo wrestlers, outweighed by 200 pounds.
There was no rules back then.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was very interesting seeing no weight classes and somebody being outweighed by 100 pounds.
Kick someone's ass.
And kick somebody's ass. So I think that's very similar in going from boxing to MMA.
You know what I think you need to watch? And I say this, how do I say it?
With your mouth?
Yeah, but I okay, I don't know how I say it, but I say it with
English.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm being an asshole.
And I also saw the text, but I'm gonna say it with without watching the whole interview. I've only watched like 10 or 20 minutes of it. Go watch the Ken Shamrock, and I just watched it last night. Only watched like 10 minutes of it because I was eating, and then I stopped it. Go watch the Ken Shamrock, and go watch Ken Shamrock on Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. He talks about that. He talks about, I was this big, and I was beating the shit out of these people. But then I see some dude that is 5'9", 180 pounds. I'm like, I'll beat the shit out of him too. And then he fucking just manhandle Ken Shamrock. So go watch Mike Tyson and Ken Shamrock interview. I haven't watched the whole thing, so that's what I was saying. I don't know where it goes because Mike Tyson, he's weird. You know, he'll cry at the drop of a dime. He talks about boxing, he starts crying. But what I saw of it, it's like Ken Shamrock is just talking about, bruh, I weigh this much more than this dude. I'm much heavier than this dude. I've already beat up 3 people from your gym, and you bring in this Japanese dude, weighs 180 pounds. He's 5'9". I'ma kill him. And then fucking no. He gets in a leg lock, and the coach is saying, tap. You need to tap. And he's like, I don't know what tapping is. What are you talking about? I'm trying to, you want me to scream uncle, but no, man, I'm in a fight. And he's like, dude, if it hurts too much, tap the mat. And he finally tapped the mat. But that's a great interview. You know, what I watched of it, the first 10 or 20 minutes.
And was he talking about
And
fighting Sakuraba in Pride?
I think so. I think so. It was two of them. It was maybe him who you just mentioned, and it was one other person. But it. I don't think it was actually. I don't think it was. It was It wasn't an actual fight that was televised. It was in a sparring match.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was
Yeah,
in a yeah. I don't. The name you if you mention one of the two names, I'd be like, no, 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 that's it, that's it. No, it was it was two people and it was Japanese names and that's not one of them. But it was two people and he saw them fight and was like, oh yeah, I could fight them, I could beat them. They fucking weigh fucking 40 pounds less than me. But dude, it's crazy thinking about like you got people like John Jones that is he's totally destroyed, and I might get this wrong, but he's totally destroyed the light heavyweight division and is thinking about going to heavyweight and destroying that division. But you have people like Ken Shamrock where those divisions didn't matter. It wasn't about weight. It was about this is who I'm being paired against, and this is who I have to fight.
yeah. And then you also had the ones that had no time limits, because I think it was
None.
yeah,
None.
or they have like a 45-minute time limit, knockout or submission only. But
And think about it.
you didn't have like the 10-point system.
And think about it, bruh. Now, I understand why maybe certain MMA connoisseurs are like, man, this is getting watered down like the NFL is. You can't do helmet to helmet, blah, blah, blah. No, it's fucking. You can't knee a down opponent. You can't do a 12-6 elbow, which I think is stupid. If you can hit someone with a fucking knee, you can hit someone with an elbow.
Let me stop you right there. I actually
Talk to
saw,
me, baby boy.
I actually saw the interview on that. That was John McCarthy. So when they were first meeting with the commissions, and I want to say they actually were in court. They were all in the back room. It was Dana, maybe the Fertitta brothers, if I remember the interview correctly, and Big John was also there. And they were going
That
over
McCarthy?
yeah, Big John McCarthy. And they were going over.
I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm sorry. You were definitely onto something. Can you please hold that thought? Because I have to pee so bad. I'm sorry, man. I know you were going deep in it, but God, I gotta pee so bad.
Just go. Yeah.
And you got about 10 minutes.
No, I got about 5 minutes.
I want to finish this thought at least. Is that fine?
Yeah, just go. I'll be here. Yeah, so Nate just cracked me up. I thought he was going to interrupt me to give me like a really profound thought that he was going to have and then it was going to go before I finished mine. But no, he just had to go take a piss. Day drink discussions. That beer gets to you. Once you take that first piss, you can't stop. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful Saturday. October the 10th, 2020. This bitch is almost over. Been a lot of crazy shit going on between pandemic and all the political shit. Just been a crazy year. I think a lot of people have been a little bit more introspective. So I hope if you have been introspective that you found growth. Yeah, no, I have. I've done a lot of shit. A lot of self-thought. Been in therapy for the first time in let's see, 2009. Yeah, so therapy for the first time since 2009, so 11 years, and loving it. Getting some good insight about myself, learning things about myself, getting tools to be able to handle life a little bit better, cope with challenges, cope with trauma, and just making some good breakthroughs. So.
All right, so Big John McCarthy was in the courtroom. Dana White might have been in that bitch too.
Dana was definitely there.
All right.
I just can't remember who all else was there. But
is this all about the 12-6?
Yeah.
Oh,
So they
that's so stupid. That is a stupid ass rule. Keep going. Talk to me, brother.
no, so I mean they were just going over rules, what they think should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed, and it's all on Joe Rogan. That's where I saw the interview, but John was there and kind of explaining things to, I guess, commissions and legal people, and I think he had somebody in the courtroom punch a desk with a glove on, and I was like, just hit it, like hit it hard as you want, and obviously because it was padded, it didn't hurt. And then told them to take the glove off and then hit it with the same force. They obviously didn't do it, but it made a valid point of the glove is to protect the puncher, not the one being punched.
Right.
Because a lot of it was a bare knuckle back then.
Right.
And then
Yeah, they had shoes on and everything, bro. UFC 1 through fucking 30. They were just.
it was weird. It was strange stuff. Nobody's ever seen it. We only had like normal like point fighting competitions, and then you had like wrestling. That was the only thing that was like known to the public.
They were boiling it.
It was very weird. But what was I gonna say? You took me off. Oh, so they were going over rules. What should be allowed, what shouldn't be allowed, and the elbow angles, I guess, came up, and 12-6 came up, and John was like, no, like an elbow's an elbow, but I guess at this point in the negotiations, it was kind of tit for tat, and they were like, look, we don't want to tip them over the edge and just say, hey, fuck this whole thing, we don't want it. So that's one thing they didn't negotiate on, was the 12-6 elbow. It really has no more damage causing potential than any other elbow, but it's just something that they chose to, I guess, kind of wave the white flag on.
Okay, let me explain to people that don't understand what we're talking about. I'm gonna stand up real quick. I'm gonna try to stay close to the microphone. All right. So you can have an opponent. This is a clinch, and my hands are behind their head. I can pull them close to me, and I can knee them. That is a knee. That is a bony ass knee. What a 12-6 is I'm at 12 o'clock on the clock, and I go to 6 o'clock. That cannot happen.
But the exact same direction of the knee, coming from 6 to 12, is perfectly fine.
And
your legs are fucking bigger. Like, I mean, you're going to generate a lot more force with your knee than you are your elbow.
And you can literally pull them in. Like, when I say this is a clinch, think about my hands being on the back of their head. Not only do I pull them in, I bring my bony ass knee to their face. That is perfectly fine. But I cannot bring my bony ass elbow on a 12-6. 12, I'm at the top of the clock. I bring it down to a 6. I can do this. I can do that. But I cannot bring it down. That makes no sense to me.
Well, like I said, it has nothing to do with damage causing potential. It was just when they were negotiating the early rules with the commissions. That's just one thing that I guess the negotiations had gotten so tense, it wasn't worth pushing on that. So, although everybody knows it's bullshit, the commissions have their rules for a reason.
They do. Like, I mean, you got the Las Vegas rules, you got the California rules, you got the Atlanta rules. It all.
I think they're unified.
I think so, but
because they always talk about the new unified rules. So it's not
right.
It's not like you fight in Atlanta and you have a different rule set.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, they talk the unified rules, so they are unified now.
But it's so stupid. Like, this sounds crazy. Honestly, we sound crazy, in my opinion, because we're literally saying that people should be able to do this shit. But if you're fighting and you have Adesanya going into the 5th round and looking you in the eyes and say, I'm ready to die, are you? This is what they signed up for.
And here's the thing though, but the damage causing potential is no greater because you can't. If you're on top of an opponent in full mount, you're basically sitting on their chest. You cannot come down with an elbow from here to here.
Which is stupid.
That you're not allowed to do that.
It is stupid.
But if I'm on my back and you're in my guard and your face is directly over mine, I can come from here to here. It's the same motion of the shoulder.
The same exact motion.
But it depends on where you're positioned. So, I mean, like I said, it has nothing to do with damage causing potential. What John was explaining, how the rules came to be, was public perception. Because had the rules stayed the same, because in the first UFC, someone got their tooth kicked out.
Bro, people's teeth have been knocked out from fighting, even though they got mouthpieces in.
No, this guy didn't have a mouthpiece in. His tooth went flying past the commentators. You've never seen that?
No.
It's hard to watch. It's hard to fucking watch. he gets kicked in the mouth. The guy might have even been wearing shoes, and his tooth flies past a commentator table. Or, oh my God, that was his tooth. It's fucking weird. So the thing was, I mean, it's about safety. Like, you do want to keep athletes safe. At the end of the day, there are people that have families. But a lot of it's public perception because, in my opinion, no gloves would be safer. Because you can do wild swinging punches when you have a glove on and wraps that's going to protect your knuckles and wrists.
Have you ever watched Bareknuckle boxing? It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. I haven't watched the what am I trying to say? I haven't watched the organization Bareknuckle Boxing. But I mean, back in the day, I used to watch fucking. He ended up fighting in the UFC before he passed away.
Kimbo Slice.
Kimbo Slice. I used to watch his videos, and man, they would get fucked up.
But that was that backyard boxing.
But there's also like no referee. There was no mediator for the fights.
That was backyard boxing at its finest.
The knuckles will cut and slice you in a way that a glove won't. But your punches are a lot more thought out because you're not going to just swing wild and break your hand or break your wrist.
Yeah, I mean, that's what got me into backyard boxing. I'm about to let you go because I know you got a wedding to go to. But
marriage, love, and marriage.
Dun 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 dun. Man, that dude was stupid as every fucking show in the 90s, every sitcom, it was always a stupid ass dude and a bitch that held him down. That's what it was. And what was that show? Married with Children?
Yeah, no, I think it was I won't even say a bitch that held him down. It's more like a stupid lug of a man, an oddly trophy wife,
which was,
and then just children that were off the rails.
Bruh, does that not sound like our life?
No,
we had a bitch.
Relate.
We had a bitch that held Big down because even when Big was tripping and shit, Mom was there. Hey, and Big's like, yeah, dance for me, and Big's a dumbass. And then you got a badass bitch, which is our mother. You got a badass bitch that held it down, and then you got you maybe not, but me, I'm off the rails. So you got me doing dumb shit, and you got Mom in the background like, I may not support it 100%, but you're my son. So if you want to wear girl jeans, do what you want to do. You got the dumbass dad, love him to death. You got the badass bitch, our mother. And then you got my dumbass trying to do whatever the fuck I'm trying to do. And Mom was holding it down. And then you got your dumbass. You dumb too. And she's still holding it down for you. Bruh.
Yeah, I can't relate to that description at all.
No, you can't. Okay, well, let's go. We're about to get off here. Let's do this.
I literally got 1 minute at 3:50. I'm ending the recording.
All right, let's do this. Is Big dumb as fuck?
I would say no.
All right. Is Mom one of the baddest bitches you've ever met?
That, that's a weird way to describe it. I've never thought of her that way, but it's just weird to think of mom as a bad bitch.
Bruh, is she one of the baddest bitches you've ever met? A queen. She deserves her crown. If she was still here, you you would have said, "Look, I should have treated you a little more nicer. Let me fucking bow down and kiss your ring." Is she one of the baddest bitches you've ever met?
To move this conversation forward, I would say yes.
Are you a dumbass motherfucker that didn't respect her the way you should have?
As a teenager, yes. As an adult, no.
Love and marriage. Bruh, we're not
But
family.
I think that's teenagers anyways though, because like I'll say this and then I'm gonna hit the recording button. Like I said, I was listening to Russell Brand's video earlier on addiction, and he was talking about with addicts one thing that's a telltale sign is how they go through puberty and become adults. He's like, you get this fucking rush of hormones that you don't know how to deal with, which are basically like these endogenous drugs that just warp your mind and change your worldview. So it's hard for teenagers not to be an asshole. So and it's also hard to look back as a 34-year-old and say I wasn't dumb as fuck when I was 16. Because if you're only 16, what do you know? You've only been in school. You've done nothing. You have very little experience in most cases. Most 16-year-olds haven't experienced the world yet. And if you have, it's only been from a very part-time view. It's not full-time. So, yeah, I don't relate. But, I mean, if you do, it's cool. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I just don't. All right, motherfuckers, we're out.
Nope.
I just got a wedding.
One more message.
I got a wedding I gotta go to, so I can't be late.
And I have one more message.
You can't be late to a wedding or a funeral.
This bitch, you can be late to your own funeral. I got one more message.
I meant somebody else's though. You don't want to show up to a dead person's party late.
I got one more message. You had a badass bitch, a dumbass dad, and two dumbass kids. We are love and marriage. That is us. If you go back and look at that family and paint them black, that is us. They almost me and more.
Muito
I don't
amor.
know. I don't know if you know what that meant, but I love you. I don't know what brother is. Hermosa.
Hermosa. No, A always indicates female. It'd be hermano.
Hermano. Te amo, hermano.
Love you too, brother.
I
You're drunk ass awake so you can watch UFC tonight.
hasta luego. You know what that means?
See ya later.
Peace.